Namaste, dear children of Bhavan Swarana Vidyalaya. It's always an honor to connect with Bharati Vidya Bhavan group of schools as I am one of their students as well. So special thanks to Sarita Jayagopal ma'am for inviting me here on this day. So what's special about today? Today is December 3rd. And what is December 3rd known for or recognized for by the United Nations? It is recognized as the World Disability Day. Okay. Now you might be wondering, children, what is there so much to celebrate disability? How can we celebrate what somebody else cannot do or what somebody else is unable to do? How can that be a celebration, right? I'm sure these thoughts used to come to me when I was your age, but there is a catch. What you need to do is zoom into the word disability. When you zoom in really, really close, there is another bigger word which becomes highlighted. And you know what that word is? Ability. So that's the biggest message of today. And the reason why we have such days is for us to recognize and appreciate that every person who has a disability has an ability also, and we need to appreciate that and we need to recognize that. It might not be very easy for a person who has a disability. Now, what is disabilities? It can be either neurological, which is something, the way in which your brain is made can be different. You can be born differently, or the way in which your body is can be different. It can be either by birth or it can happen later in life also, isn't it? And it's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault that somebody has a disability, either of the mind or of the body. Okay. But then what we need to do is within this disability, there is an ability. I'm sure you must have heard about very, very famous people with diagnosed disabilities who have done exceedingly well in life, isn't it? Like Albert Einstein, you must have read that he was dyslexic, and some say he was even autistic, where he became a scientist. You know Abhishek Bachchan or Tom Cruise, who had learning disabilities. You know a lot of autistic children who can sing, who can paint, who can dance. You know people who might not have legs or who are wheelchair users who play sports. There is a blind football team that India has. Did you know about that? So there are a lot of abilities and there are a lot of possibilities. Okay, so that is to be appreciated. But we also need to accept the fact that not all the abilities can be similar to what I just mentioned. We might not know about millions of other children and people whose ability might be just that they can wake up from their beds and go to the toilet, or it could be the ability that they can actually feed themselves. It could be an ability that, yeah, they can throw the ball, or they can pick up the pen, or they can give a smile, or that they have life. So the fact is also for us to accept that not all abilities can be really showcased and can be celebrated like how we do. But we need to recognize the fact that, children, it is not easy. Any ability to be projected within a disability is not easy. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of determination from the individual and from the families of that individual who are raising, and the schools which are supportive of children with disabilities. It takes a lot of effort from a lot of people. Okay, and we need to appreciate that and acknowledge and accept that yes, there is a disability and there is a difficulty, and we need to provide for accommodations. Okay, and what sort of accommodations can you do? You might wonder, what can we do as children? And the biggest thing that you can do is look around. If there is anybody that you know who's not able to do anything, don't worry about what is their disability, what is their diagnosis. It's okay. If there is anybody you see struggling, you can ask them, can I help you? Instead of staring and looking at them and saying, hey, what is happening? Avoid the stares. Go to them, ask, can I help you? And acknowledge them. Don't try to avoid and run away saying, oh my God, I don't know how to deal with it. Ask, find out more, okay, and offer the support. Okay, so those are the accommodations that we can give. And you might feel that, oh, this is a big charity work, or this is, what do you say, because out of sympathy we have to do it. No, it is neither charity nor does it call for anybody's sympathy, because it is a right. That is another thing, the big message that UN, United Nations, has put forward, and also in India. You need to know, children, that as of 2016, we have something called the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, which is the RPWD Act 2016, which says that every individual has a right to a dignified and a safe life, just like any one of us. So whether you have a disability, or whether you need a lot of support, or whether you don't need the support, whether you have a special talent or whether you don't have a talent, if there is a genuine disability of your mental health or with your physical health, you have certain rights, which is given by the Constitution as well. And which means it is our duty. It is our duty to provide for those rights. Okay, so as children, this is a little homework that I'm going to leave you with. It is available in the internet. There is the RPWD Act 2016, which is downloadable. There are 21 types of disabilities which are recognized in India, and accommodations can be provided. There is also the RPWD rules, which is framed in Kerala, and it was framed only in 2020. That is also a good read, so that we are aware of our rights and also of our duties, because what we can do is include. So I'll just quickly recap the few A's that I said. One is appreciate the ability within the disability. It is not easy. Acknowledge the effort. It takes effort to showcase the ability, and abilities can be of varying kinds. Okay, we have to appreciate that. The next is accept that yes, accommodations might be needed. Yes, maybe you can be a person with disability, or you might know somebody with disability. There is absolutely nothing to be ashamed about. Ask for help, and also offer help to anybody before they even have to ask for it, because it is their right. Practice inclusion. Inclusion means please include everybody. You don't think that how do I include them, they do not have a skill. Find out. There is an ability. Remember, there is woman, there is an ability hidden within every disability. Find out. That is what we need to find out, and that is the determination that we can make today on World Disabilities Day. Okay, so leaving you all with that thought, find out the NGOs that work in and around your place where you can associate with. So appreciate, acknowledge, and include, because inclusion is within everybody's ability, and anyone can include, and everyone must try. And we can do that, and together we can do that. Thank you so much, children. I hope you have a beautiful day and life ahead. Thank you so much for having me here.